What's good, everybody? Sorry about that. Earlier, I had a little mess up. I didn't bring my little kickstand, so my phone kept on slipping. But I'll make sure I bring it next time. But what's good, everybody? Just thought I'd jump in here right quick, give my quick thoughts, latest Cowboys news, and I'm gonna have a little guest on tonight, Mr. Not to Be Trite, Mike, Burgers and Blitzes. He's all heavy on Twitter, really big in the Twitter game. Great informational guy. Heard he been killing on a lot of podcasts, so I said, you know what? Let's you jump on here and let's talk with being Big Game James and let's talk some football because he seems to be knowing his stuff. So I'm going to have him on tonight and we're going to talk that Seattle Cowboys matchup. But just thought I'd throw out some quick news that's going on right quick. If you haven't heard already, Cheeto Awuzie is on the injured list. He will be out the next few weeks with a hamstring injury. Also, Trevin Diggs arrived. What's up? What's up? What's up? Trevin Diggs also ended up on the injured list with a banged up shoulder. You already have Anthony Brown that's on the IR, short-term IR. Now Cheeto's looking like he might be out for a couple weeks. So the secondary is looking very depleted right now. It was good you got Jordan Lewis back, but you're missing the Cheeto. You're missing Anthony Brown now. You're going to be down to Darryl Worley. Hopefully Diggs, that's just a situation where he's on the injured list but will still play. We're really going to need Diggs to show up and be in that game. But Worley's going to have to come to the forefront. Brandon Carr, who was playing some safety, now he may play some corner. He's flexible playing the safety and the cornerback position. So we'll just see, will Reggie Robinson get activated? So we'll see how that kind of pans out, but we're going to need all hands on deck. It's a big blow to have Cheeto and Brown out, even though, they're not all world players, but you're going against a Russell Wilson who has 8 touchdown passes and only 1 interception. That wasn't his fault. That went off the tight end's hands and bounced right into the defensive back's hands. He should have caught that. It should be 8 touchdowns, no picks, and he ran 1 in as well. So 9 total touchdowns in 1 game. One interception in 2 games. I think he's completing about 80% of his passes. Playing ridiculous right now. Russell Wilson is playing out of his mind. So that's going to be a major concern for the cornerback position, especially if we don't get that pressure. So we'll see about that. Some other quick thoughts about not just Cheeto with the injury. I know if you watched the feed last night where we had Dave Hellman on last night, it was a great show. Make sure you go check that out on the YouTube page. Great show that we had on the Late Night Hype. Man, we had a great time with Dave. We kicked it. But make sure you check that out. We talked about the Everson Griffin thing. He came out today and I made the post saying that he's going back to a 2-point stance, saying doesn't 3-point stance. I'm sorry, say he doesn't feel comfortable with the 2-point stance. He's played in the 3-point stance all his whole life, so that's what he's going to go back to. Shout out to Jeff Kavanaugh. Shout out to John Oney. Those guys mentioned that DeMarcus Lawrence and probably Everson Griffin, who've been guys that have been 3-point stance guys their whole careers. It was going to be hard. It looked awkward for them, to be very honest with you, especially Everson Griffin because he's about 280 pounds. So you got a guy who he just didn't look right. He looked awkward. But, that was Mike Nolan. That's what he wanted to incorporate. But I think when we talked about this at the very beginning of the summer, we were talking about them flexing and playing a 4-3 and a 3-4 and playing different positions and guys would be standing up, saying that this would be a harder season for that to happen for these guys because of the COVID. No preseason, barely any camp. You had like 30 days of camp pretty much, and that was it, and then you hit the season running. You need more than that if you're playing a position that you never played before. If you've never been in a 2-point stance and you've been a 3-point stance guy your whole career, you need time to be able to get acclimated to that, and it's not comfortable. You see a guy like Aldon Smith who can do it even at his heavy weight because he did it at San Francisco when he came out of college. He was standing up his rookie year. Second year, he was standing up. So that's not something he's unfamiliar with. So that's something that he could slide right into and still do. Still don't like him in coverage. I've seen a couple plays on all 22 when they had him in coverage. He's just not a guy that's going to be in coverage. But I do like him as a designated pass rusher. But once again, shout out to these guys that are making these changes. D. Law was absent for practice today. Shout out to him. His wife had their baby today. So that's a good thing for D. Law. But hopefully he can go back to that 2-point stance and be more effective on the ground. He has been effective in the run game. There hasn't been any doubt about that, but Dallas needs him to be more pass rushing. Dallas needs more sacks from him. You don't pay that guy that kind of money, and you're not only getting, doing damage in the run game. There's plenty of run stoppers. You need a guy who's a difference maker. That's why you paid him that money, and that's what Tank's got to be. So hopefully if he's going back to a three-point stance like Everson Griffin, they can go back and have that natural explosiveness that they're used to since they played that the whole career. So we'll see what happens with that. Hopefully Trevin Diggs is healthy. We're going to need him from DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, Wilson, the tight end. But we know Russell Wilson, he's just a magician, man. He's a guy that can escape the pocket. He can make plays with his feet. He can make plays when they break down. And so that's your biggest fear. So that pass rush that we've been talking about, 2 sacks in 2 games, hopefully they'll still get acclimated. Hopefully they can put some pressure. Offensive line is not terrible for the Seattle Seahawks, but it's not great. That front four has got to create pressure. Aldon Smith, Everson Griffin, DeMarcus Lawrence, if he plays, they have to create pressure. They have to stay disciplined. They have to stay in those running lanes with the Russell Wilson because we know he's going to escape the pocket. We know he's going to rush. I think he had 5 carries for 40 yards last week. He had a real big run on a 2nd and 5 where he got about 15 yards straight up the middle. We saw that happen with Matt Ryan. He's not a guy who runs, but that middle was wide open for him. That can't happen with Russell Wilson. He'll kill us all day. At the end of the day, I think this is going to be a high-scoring game like it was last week. I think this is going to be like a 31-28 game. And I just feel like, we're just going to really have to, shut down Russell Wilson when it counts. I think he's still going to have one of those type of games because it just feels like they kind of opened up the offense and let him command it how he wants, man. And he's going to throw that ball. They got Chris Carson on the team. He's a 7th-round running back. He runs hard. He had 72. I think he had like 70 yards on the ground this past week, but not super scary. They tried to rush with him the last time we played him, force-fed him. He didn't really do too much, so I feel like the Cowboys have really slowed down the running game. They shut down Todd Gurley. So we'll see. Seattle Seahawks secondary is not the greatest. Obviously, they got Jamal Adams. He has made a difference, 2 sacks, but they put him everywhere all over the field. But that front four, especially with Bruce Irvin going out with a torn ACL, with Benson Mayowa, Dontre Moore, Reed, those guys aren't special. So I definitely think this is a game where Cowboys can get loose in the secondary, can run on them, and basically can score a lot of points on this Seattle defense. They haven't gave up a lot of rushing yards, but I believe that's because Atlanta didn't stay with the run. They're quick to switch and go to the pass if the run gets stopped early. And I just believe that the New England Patriots, Sonny Michel, he's an okay back. Cam Newton had the majority of the yards, and he still got about 50 yards rushing. I beg to say Ezekiel Elliott can gas this secondary and this Seattle front. So we'll see how that goes. Make sure, like I said, check in tonight. I'm going to have a special guest, Mike Not To Be Trey. We follow each other on Twitter. He's a great informational guy. He's going to be on the feed. I don't know if I'm going to do it YouTube and Facebook or just Facebook and YouTube. I got to check some things because I don't want my internet. I upgraded my internet and everything is good, but I don't want nothing to be acting up on this. Feel me? Because it's going to be a good show. So we'll see how that goes, if it's going to be strictly Facebook or if it's going to be YouTube or if it's going to be both. So I guess you'll just have to see. But that's pretty much the news of the day and of the week. Just getting ready for this Seattle matchup. I think it's a matchup. A lot of people are scared about this matchup, but if you really look at the games that they played against Seattle since Russell Wilson has come in the league, Russell Wilson hasn't had crazy statistical games against the Cowboys. I mean, 2014, Dallas beat them in Seattle. 2015, Dallas lost to Seattle, but they only lost 10-9, and they were contained pretty much the whole game, and that was with Brandon Whedon and freaking Joseph Randle and McFadden, and Dallas still should have won it. So, I mean, I don't even know if it was Brandon Whedon or freaking Matt Castle, one of them 2 whack quarterbacks was playing that game. We saw what happened to Dallas when they went to Seattle with the Earl Thomas game. But even then, Dallas had a chance to get up in that game quickly. We had a couple quick turnovers that really kind of ate us up, and Dallas didn't have the didn't have the receiving core that they have now. And you saw in 2018, Dallas beat them in the playoffs. So it's not like the Seattle Seahawks have been dominating the Cowboys in these past matchups. It's been pretty even, if you ask me. And Dallas has had a good upper hand, has been banging with the Seattle Seahawks. So I'm not afraid of them. I'm not afraid of their defense. I am concerned about a Russell Wilson getting loose, because basically he's going to have to put the team on his back one more time this game and win it. It's going to have to be a Russell Wilson game for them to really beat us. I feel like we can shut down the run game and Carson. I feel like if we have a Diggs playing, he can match up well with a DK Metcalf. But like I said, Russell Wilson is going to be the ultimate factor in this game. Hey ho, appreciate you, Flora Perrier, with the $2 holla. Appreciate you, big dog. And like I said, on the offensive side of the ball, they're only giving up like about an average of 3.5 yards a carry. But as I said before, the Atlanta Falcons went away from the run very quickly. I feel like if they would have stayed with the run and established the run, they would have had a better go at it. And I just feel like the New England Patriots don't have a serious run game. So that's why they didn't really run on the Seahawks. Plus, the Seattle Seahawks, they put a lot of, I saw a lot of 7-man. They were sending Jamal Adams on a lot of blitzes because they know they aren't receiving a lot of pressure from the front, so they will blitz. So you're going to get a lot of one-on-one situations with their corners. And I like Cowboys receivers over the Seattle corners. So I think it's a good matchup for the Cowboys. They just have to contain Russell Wilson. If they can contain Russell Wilson and really limit him to what he can do on his feet and arms, I feel like the Cowboys can definitely win this game and drop a lot of points in the process. I said a 31-28 game. Cowboys win it. We'll see how it goes. But we'll talk more about it tonight with Mike Not To Be Trite, Burgers and Blitzes. Go check out his Twitter page and his Twitter feed and his handle. Man has a lot of amazing stuff that he brings to the table. And we'll just chop it up and talk about Seattle tonight. Tomorrow, I'm going to go in and tomorrow's my day off, so I'm going to go in and do some film work. Watch some third quarter defensive stops that the Cowboys got, so we see a little bit of hope. I got my mic in. Skywalker's still sitting my mic, so hopefully I can hook up my mic so I have a nice clear mic. I won't have all that background noise. I can actually yell and you won't hear all the popping. I got my monitor up. I just got to get my cord. So things are just coming along smoothly, and I appreciate everybody who's been down for the cause and helped me along the way. One more thing, I got Jeff Kavanaugh coming in Monday. He's gonna come on the show. Brianna Dix, we're getting her to come back on next week. Jesse Holly, hopefully he'll be on the Late Night Hype Tuesday. We're getting that settled. We're just waiting for him to give us the go if his schedule is okay for Tuesday. And we're gonna keep on trying to bring the heat. Let me see what y'all say right now. Appreciate everybody in the feed. Make sure if you want to be a subscriber of Silver and Blue Nation, go to my YouTube page. Be signed up for as low as $1.99. What's up, TX? Texas Bread 83. What's up, Gambino? What's good? Prince Jackson, how you doing? Yes, they did. And Element went nuts. So yeah, Seattle defense does suck as trash. What's up, Studwood Cowboy? Hey, what's up, Floyd? Appreciate that. Yeah, I ain't scared of them. And as I said before, our defense, I don't think is going to just go nutty and stop them. But I do feel like we got timely stops, just like we got timely stops in the Rams game. We got timely stops in the Falcons game. And hopefully we can get some timely stops and maybe a big sack here or there against Russell Wilson, because we need more sacks. 2 sacks in 2 games is not going to cut it for the Cowboys. And that's Everson Griffin and Alden Smith. None of the returning Cowboys have got a sack yet. That needs to change. But I do feel like this defense will be better toward me mid-season. I'm not getting crazy and like, oh, this defense is trash and not going to be good. I believe it will be better. Just got to get more acclimation, more familiarity with the team and these guys with each other. Like I said, it's a unique situation, a unique season, so it's going to take a little bit of time to gel. Obviously, when you see the offensive side, you had a lot of those parts that came back, so it's a smoother transition where you see a lot of the defense were a lot of moving parts, so it's going to take a little bit more time. But like I said, if we can get some timely stops against Russell Wilson, a big sack, maybe hopefully a turnover or 2, that can go far with the Cowboys. Like I said, I'm not really scared of their defense. I feel like we can move the ball. But once again, we cannot get down early against these Seahawks. We got to get a lead. I would love to play with a lead and not Seahawks jumping out 7-0, 10-0, then we're playing that catch-up game. I'm getting tired of that. So hopefully the Cowboys can jump out on a quick lead. But make sure you tune in tonight. Special guest, Mike Not To Be Trite, Burgers and Blitzes. He's going to be on tonight. We're going to talk Seattle, the Seattle matchup more in depth, throw out some numbers, maybe some tape, depending on how that thing is acting. But I'll talk to you guys soon. I appreciate the time. Silver and Blue Nation, Big Game James, I'm out, and we'll talk soon. All right? Peace. You know how we do.